Britain is a land of rich history buried beneath our feet,
Oh, it's a nice Roman coin. Look at the size of that one.
where ancient artefacts are waiting to reveal the secrets of our past.
I've just got my first gold coin.
Go for it, girl!
Every day, all over the country,
Oh, man.
ordinary people are unearthing extraordinary objects.
The soil parted, and there was the gold sun pendant.
And reporting them to the British Museum's Portable Antiquities Scheme.
Oh, my goodness. Those two pieces go together, don't they?
The British Museum's treasure team of finds liaison officers
That's a really nice find, so well done for finding that.
That is extraordinary.
scientists,
It's amazing. I can't believe I get paid to do it.
conservators and curators work with detectorists
The question is, where did it come from?
to unravel the mysteries of times past.
My theory was that they were earrings with spikes to ward off unwelcome advances.
I'm amazed what you guys can find out from all these little bits and bobs.
The only other time I was as excited was when I was cutting my children's umbilical cords.
Together, they're throwing new light on the way us Brits used to live.
It's a portal to a different time, into the Tudors, into the Romans.
What's that? Oh, it's a full crotal bell.
And turning finds into fortunes.
I will start this lot at £50,000.
There is so much history out there in the countryside. You can't see it until you dig it up.
Go and find some history.
This time on Great British History Hunters, after thousands of years in the ground, remarkable artefacts reveal themselves in Yorkshire
Stuff like that up north really doesn't get found. I just feel like it's putting Yorkshire on the map.
and Shropshire.
I'd never seen anything like it, and to be honest, at the time I didn't really know what it was.
And snapshots of London life through the ages wash up in the southeast.
You can still wear the history that you find in the Thames.
Well, I wouldn't always encourage you wearing the objects you find.
In London's British Museum, the galleries are full of glorious personal items that show how people adorned themselves through the ages. Across the country, the occasional lucky detectorists find such artefacts, and the next step is to bring them for expert evaluation. Today, the British Museum's Portable Antiquities Scheme is holding a find surgery deep in the Shropshire countryside. And in attendance is one of the scheme's top finders, retired engineer Bob Greenaway.
Well, I found the Shropshire sun pendant. That's my claim to fame, but I've been finding some axes as well in the same area.
That's the bucket list there for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
The Shropshire sun pendant is one of the most exquisite examples of Bronze Age jewellery ever found. Its shimmering surfaces are etched with semicircles and geometric motifs that depict the sun. And its condition belies its age of 3,000 years. The pendant was recorded, declared treasure, and is now under research at the British Museum. Bob unearthed the sun pendant in these fields, an area known as the Shropshire Marches. The exact location is a closely guarded secret.
The day I found the Shropshire sun pendant, I started working my way down towards the peat. As I came down here, I got a good positive signal. So put the spade in and gently pulled it towards me, and the soil parted. And there was the gold sun pendant. It just glistened. It was as bright as sunlight. I'd never seen anything like it. And to be honest, at the time, I didn't really know what it was.
Bob has been discovering many other artefacts in these same fields. and suspects it must be a ritual site where ancient people came to make offerings.
This was probably all underwater in the Bronze Age, where I'm standing now, and they came down the high ground, leant over and pushed it into the water. The sun pendant related to the rays of the sun. Were they putting in the ground hoping the weather was going to improve and their crops wouldn't fail anymore? Why they chose this spot, we'll never know, but obviously it meant a great deal to them.
Bob's gained quite the reputation for delivering remarkable finds to his local finds liaison officer, Peter Reeville.
He's a journey sod, really. He's finding some absolutely amazing objects, and most archaeologists would give their hind teeth to find a site like this.
He already has Bronze Age and Iron Age hoards recorded.
Right, I've got a few bits to show you.
Yeah, and I've been working on the hoards that you've brought in beforehand. It's an amazing group.
One of the two hoards includes metalwork from an Iron Age chariot.
So we've got this absolutely fantastic linchpin terminal, and of course we're missing this piece over here. This is one of the star pieces of the hoard. There would be a wheel on a chariot, and this bit sits down on the top of that wheel and locks it in place. So without this, the wheel falls off.
Well, I've got a nice surprise for you.
What's that? Oh my goodness. Those two pieces go together, don't they? Oh my goodness, yes, look. Look, they fit.
Yeah.
That's absolutely gorgeous. It would have been that bright bronze colour, so it's not the green we see now.
No.
It would have been a golden object spinning around on the axle of a chariot.
Yeah.
That's made the day already, as it were. We've talked about the Iron Age,
yeah,
but we both know that in the same field, we've also got this Bronze Age hoard. The relationship between the two of them is really interesting, because it means that where you're detecting is a really, really special place for at least 800, 1,000 years. The reason we're so excited about this is because this is the same farm as produced the sun pendant,
yeah,
which is absolutely stunning.
Bob is keen to get confirmation from an expert like Peter about his theory of a ritual site.
One of the things we think about this period is they're putting all of this really important metalwork into the ground as some form of offering, whether that's to control the landscape and to control the weather.
So I know in the late Bronze Age, the weather was very wet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I just wonder whether it was like, it was asking the river not to encroach any further on the land.
While Bob and Peter have their own theories on the sun pendant story, the British Museum scientists are putting it under the microscope to determine its metallic composition and unlock its secrets in the process. Today at Nebworth in Hertfordshire, amateur archaeologists are gathering from far and wide for a finds surgery held by Finds Liaison Officer Joe Armett. Along with his latest discoveries to record with the Portable Antiquities Scheme, Luke Dublin has also brought his 10-year-old daughter Tia in an attempt to win her over to his hobby.
I don't particularly like history. I think it's very boring.
So you don't want to come out with me at all?
Never.
Never?
Never in a million years.
Luke is banking on Joe's appraisal swaying Tia on the merits of detectoring.
You're not a fan of metal detecting then?
No.
Too much standing around in fields?
Yes.
What county did you find this in?
It's just outside Cambridgeshire.
This is a coin that I know intimately well, because these are potin. Yeah. They're a cast bronze coin, and they're really common in Kent. They seem to have been produced by the Cantiarchi tribe, or the Canti.
The Cantiarchi were Iron Age Celtic people who lived in Britain before the Roman conquest.
Now, what's interesting is those original coins are based on coins coming from France, and they've got a Greek god on them.
Oh, right.
And on the back, it's the bull, which is the symbol of the city of Marseille. What I love about these coins is they're showing that Britain is connected to that Mediterranean world before the Romans get here. Those coins were being traded all the way up into southern Britain, and then the Canti were copying them. This one's quite a late one. As they develop over time, we lose the kind of motifs that were on them originally. They kind of make it look more and more abstract and more weird.
Right, okay.
What do you think that is?
A target?
It does look like a target, you're right. It's actually the head of Apollo. This one was probably produced about 45 BC, so 2,045 years old. But by this point, they're just kind of scribbling the circle and going, that's a head, and then moving on.
Tia doesn't seem impressed with the Cantiarchi's abstract artwork.
Could you draw better than that?
Do a head better than that?
Yes.
Have you ever rushed your homework? Have you ever tried to make sure it's done quickly so you can go and do something more interesting?
Yes.
So maybe the person that was making all these coins was doing the same thing. He wants to go and like ride his chariot around.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. Wouldn't someone notice?
Did your teacher notice when you rushed your homework?
Yeah.
Luke's next object could have a more bloodthirsty background.
What time is this axe head from?
We've got this like drop down here, and the kind of shape of that would probably indicate that it's Roman, so maybe 1400 years, 1500 years, or maybe a bit later.
What would this be used for?
So axes like that could be for just, chopping planks and making tables like this, but there's nothing to say that someone couldn't have, in a rather disgruntled mood, taken it to another person. It's got a really small, thin blade, so it could be quite a deadly weapon as well.
No, there's no blood left on it.
I would imagine chopping someone's head off.
The macabre nature of this object could finally have Tia hooked on history.
I liked the axe head for sure, the gruesome bit, definitely. I think I'm a bit more interested in metal detecting, but maybe another million years and I'll go out with Daddy.
The British Museum's collection includes thousands of objects that transformed our culture during almost 4 centuries of Roman occupation. But the invaders of 43 AD dramatically changed our landscape too. On the outskirts of Scarborough, archaeologists are excavating the site of one of the most spectacular monuments of Roman Britain ever found. And this vast complex could hold the answers to a mysterious hoard of objects discovered just 18 miles inland at Rydale. Made by detecting duo Mark Didlick and James Spark.
I'm going to try that top ridge, I think. Got a good feeling about that.
Yeah.
I was probably these cows start kicking off.
We'll soon move when we start swinging. Right, good luck.
Ah, you too, mate.
You run your coil over a signal and it beeps, and it could be anything, and it's like thrill. Like, I suppose, like what a gambler would get in a horse race, and you just don't know what the outcome's going to be.
Mark and James could never have imagined what they were about to unearth a year ago in this idyllic Yorkshire valley.
Yeah, it was some morning that way, wasn't it? We'd had a long day, hadn't found anything. Just kneeling down, bankside like this, and got a big signal and just says, Mark, I think I've got something old here.
It's just unreal, wasn't it? There was a bus that got me, just caked in mud and those googly eyes looking at us.
The breath you took in when that, just that draw of breath to say, look at that.
The face looking up at them hadn't seen the light of day for the best part of 2,000 years. It was the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. His noble bronze head would have topped a priest's ceremonial sceptre. Alongside Marcus Aurelius was a plumb bob. When suspended from a string, it would have been used to help construct perfectly vertical walls on a building. Next was a horse-shaped key handle. And a few paces away was a figurine of the god Mars on horseback. When Mark reported the find to the British Museum's Portable Antiquities Scheme, their local finds liaison officer speculated that they could be ritual offerings to the gods.
I think the soldiers probably come from York, maybe retired, given a little farmstead, maybe settled down, and he had his little shrine where he went and worshipped his gods, and I don't know. It's just, you could make so many stories up with it, couldn't you? Certainly added a bit of history to this area, though.
It remains to be seen whether further history is revealed today.
Interestingly, you get good signals from cowpats. And I have no idea why. It's not a bad signal, this one. Could be something. And it is snow fire face powder for adorable beauty. It's maybe something that I could use. It's not Roman, but makes you wonder what it's doing up here.
It's overtaken my life in a way. Every spare minute I get, I want to be out in the fields doing this. If one of us finds something and the other doesn't, it's sort of, they have to start working a bit harder to try and get something. Oh, this one's got me curious.
I'm just wondering what Mark's got here, if he's got a good signal.
Quite deep as well, so that's quite a good sign. Ah, big buckle. Maybe 1800s, I think.
Do I need to come over? So I've just found that buckle mark down there. It's quite a big one.
That's a bigger version of what I've just found, isn't it?
Is it me, Mark, or does that look very phallic, that big one, compared to your little one? Yeah, it's very strange, that, yeah.
17th century buckles and 1930s cosmetics is as benevolent as the Yorkshire soil gets today. But its true generosity is soon to be revealed. The bronzes are going under the hammer. Although an historically significant group of objects, the Rydale bronzes are not made of precious metals or date from before the Roman occupation, so they don't fall under the Treasure Act. This presents a serious challenge for any museum wishing to acquire them. They'll have to compete with well-heeled private collectors at an auction, just days away.
Are you excited about the auction?
Yeah, I'm getting really excited with it, mate. It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
No one knows what to expect when the finds go under the hammer. But one thing is certain. Mark and James will be splitting the proceeds with the landowner who gave permission to detect in their field.
I didn't think a year ago we'd be talking about putting them in auction for that sort of estimate. It's unbelievable. I just don't know what to expect.
In Yorkshire, Mark and James are awaiting the auction of their hoard of Roman bronzes. With the knowledge they were buried as an offering to the gods, the pals want to understand what was going on in the area at that time. They've come to a location 18 miles from their find site that could hold the answers.
It's going to be interesting what's around this corner, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a childhood dream for me.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive site.
This Roman ruin was discovered on a building site on the outskirts of Scarborough. It's believed to be the first of its kind found in Britain and has archaeologists scratching their heads.
It's bigger than I expected already.
Wow.
Paula Ware of Map Archaeology is leading the dig.
This is the perimeter wall, extending for just about 100 metres. This was the first thing that we got that was indicative of a really important site. The complex of buildings that we've got would have been really significant. They would have dominated the landscape. Got to have a good imagination.
This is bringing out the archaeologist in me. I just want to get in with the troll myself.
The high-status complex would have been designed by the best architects of the time. and constructed by the finest craftspeople. Its dramatic centrepiece is an unusual circular reception room.
How important you were led off to one room or another room. They will have been spectacular rooms.
What do you envisage this reception to look like? Would it be in a domed building?
It would have been a dome, a tower, glistening in the sunlight, you know, with the white limestone.
The discovery has Mark and James wondering where their hoard fits into the story of Roman Yorkshire.
One of the items we found was a beautifully preserved bronze plumb bob. I can only imagine that something like that would have been used to line out the walls of a building like this and make sure everything's level.
That's right, if you look at the construction of those walls over there, I mean, it's just remarkable. They're straight, they're all keyed in, quite special, those walls.
Despite its grandeur, what the Romans used this site for remains a mystery to the archaeologists.
So this is all one villa then?
We're not prepared to say it's a villa. We are in a complex of Roman buildings surrounded by a perimeter wall. We have at least 23 buildings in it. We've got granaries, we've got buildings that suggest stabling, then we've got the core buildings, the unusual ones we walk over.
So what you're describing could almost potentially be military?
No, there's no evidence of military
No.
either. Was it associated with some religious activity? We just don't know.
There's one feature Paula and her team have uncovered that could hold the key to the site's use.
Look at that. Is that the well?
Yep.
Wells played a role in the complex belief systems of Roman Britain, and sometimes items were carefully placed inside as offerings.
And have you got anything out there?
A few fragments of pottery and complete antler.
Really?
So a bit tantalising.
The Romans were known to kill animals, such as deer, in elaborate ritual acts.
And is that the bottom?
No.
It's like time capsules, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and now we're building up that sequence of what's gone into that well. That could actually hold the key to opening up what this site's all about.
It's like Pandora's box.
Exactly.
Blown me away, that.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
It could be that Mark and James's Roman bronzes were buried by someone connected to the compound.
I'd like to think it was the site where the bronzes came from, that there might just be one section like this, someone's personal shrine.
It could be an early religious site.
It could be a temple complex, which really is exciting because what we've found, our Roman finds, they think that they could be from a temple complex. So there could be some link between what we've got and this place, I suppose.
Certainly opened my eyes to a link between the two. Stuff like that up north really doesn't get found. I just feel like it's putting Yorkshire on the map.
And the more these complexes pop up and get investigated, it ties all of our finds together and paints a better picture.
Back over in the Shropshire Marches, Bob's on the hunt for more prehistoric finds to add to his Bronze and Iron Age hoards. Bob wants to leave no stone unturned in these fields, so has adopted his very own meticulous method of metal detecting.
Right, now you can see the two flags are perfectly in line. So as I walk down the field, I'll make sure they stay in line, and that means I'm walking in a straight line. When I get to the next flag, I'll move it 2 yards over, but the last flag, I'll move 4 yards. So off I go. I'm starting to detect now. I think it's the most accurate and simplest way of making sure you don't miss anything. Because I can't see the point in coming in this field and detecting over it for 2 or 3 weeks and missing a gold coin there because I didn't walk over that spot. So this way I make sure I don't miss anything. obviously got a real sharp edge. That is interesting. It's almost certainly agricultural of something, but I've never seen anything like it before. Metal detecting is a patience game. It took me 14 years before I found my first axe. That would have been thousands of holes. And it's just finding the right spot where ancient people walked and either dropped something or deposited it. Yeah, there's an old door handle. How that got in the field, I shall never know. Could be Victorian, quite decorative. Probably the find of the day.
Bob can afford the odd off day, as at the British Museum, his incredible sun pendant continues to shed new light on Bronze Age Shropshire, and the scientists there are almost ready to share their findings with him. In Nebworth, Finds Liaison Officer Joe Ahmet is seeing detectorists from across the south-east. Next in line is Mark Pressland, who detects close to home in Kent.
I found this in my garden, would you believe?
Right away, you can recognise this. This is the fitting from a medieval reliquary. Reliquaries are boxes that would have contained things sacred, and that could be anything from a body part of a saint to some iron nails supposedly from the crucifixion of Christ. A lot of them don't survive the Reformation in Britain, so there's a lot of get smashed up, and you tend to find them within stone's throws of churches. You know?
Oh, that's interesting.
Your back garden isn't a graveyard, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Not as far as I'm aware, but there are cows in it at the moment.
Most of the time we see these, all the lovely gold gilding is worn off, so it's really nice to see one with its bit.
Thanks, Jane. See you.
Bye.
Most finders in attendance have dug up their discoveries from centuries in the soil. One of them prefers to avoid terra firma.
So I live over in West London, and I'm right next to the river, so I do get my feet wet quite a bit.
I'm afraid I don't get my feet wet. I'm more a landlubber, I have to say.
Jason Sandy is a Thames mudlark who scavenges for his finds on the capital's foreshore.
It's always good to see the mudlarks and see their finds because they are so different, but also because we get a real feel for London from them. We get a feel for this amazing bit of archaeology that just runs through the heart of such a modern city.
Jason's brought along a bit of headgear that would have been worn by a World War II fire warden.
I was not expecting to see a helmet brought in today, even from the Thames.
Was wading in the deeper water and spotted a round disc.
What I really like on this is actually, is we've got this lovely little rim around the edge, which I think really speaks to how the object was made. Some of these helmet designs were being made in the same places that they were originally making pots and pans. So instead of making your nice straight-sided pot, they just changed the mold and just stamped these out.
And I love the fact that it's still kind of fit for purpose. Like literally, I can put it on my head and wear it. Which I think is amazing, that you can still wear the history that you find in the Thames.
Well, I wouldn't always encourage you wearing the objects you find.
Jason's been absorbed by London's history since moving to the city from West Virginia, and is one of a growing number of mudlarks who scour the Thames foreshore with rakes and rubber gloves.
Finding quite a lot of pipe stuff down here.
Oh, lucky you.
Loads of stems and actually a couple of whole ones as well.
Really?
Mudlark's origins lie in the Industrial Revolution, when London's poor would scavenge for survival on the riverbank. Jason's a published author on the pastime, but even the most experienced mudlarks rely on luck and what the Thames reveals at low tide.
You see something and you think, oh, I'll go and scrape that out in a minute and look around, and then you've lost it.
Jason's friend, Alan Sooty, is possibly the luckiest of them all.
Alan has found one of the most quintessential finds ever found, and that's been on my bucket list for years.
His 4th century Roman find is on display in the Museum of London.
I was at a meeting at St Paul's, and after the meeting, suited and booted, I popped down at the foreshore, second time I've ever been down there, and there was the lamp, just as if it was fate. And it just rolled in on the tide. I picked it up, and if I hadn't picked it up, it would have smashed to bits. And I knew that you didn't very often find whole, even bottles. I mean, look around here, nearly everything's smashed. So to find an oil lamp like that, very lucky.
Alan's rare and significant find fuels the dreams of fellow mudlarks like Nicola White and Fran Sibthorpe. Low tide on long summer evenings gives them the best opportunity to achieve it.
So, where are we off to, Jason?
Well, I was thinking we could go under Southwark Bridge. It's absolutely beautiful, the illumination, and then we can head a bit further to Cannon Street Stairs.
Let's do it.
Just as detectorists need the landowner's permission, mudlarks need a permit from the Port of London Authority and to report their foreshore finds to the museum's Portable Antiquities Scheme, because even the most insignificant-looking finds can have a valuable story to tell.
I've learned so many things about London and about history in general that I never would have learned. And it's history that you can touch. You sense a real connection to the past.
Fran's connection to her past is through an item used in one of London's most profitable and shameful trades.
The trade, or slave bead, was something that I always wanted to find for myself. And when I picked it up, it just, I felt that I had a connection. It was part of my heritage.
These striped glass beads were used as currency in the African slave trade, where glassmaking was uncommon.
To realise that one of my ancestors could have been traded for one of these beads, it really did affect me deeply, and it still does.
The Thames has been referred to as liquid history, and Nicola's discovered an artefact with origins entwined with another tragic chapter from London's past.
I've got here something which has just been registered with the Portable Antiquities Scheme, which is one of my favourite finds, and it's a trader's token, a type of low-value currency issued in the mid-17th century, and we have the name of the vintner, who's Brian Appleby, and from Pudding Lane, which was where the Great Fire of London started.
Around the time of the Great 1666 fire, there was a shortage of small coinage in England, so trade tokens had become the unofficial currency of ordinary Londoners.
What I find incredible is that somebody may have held that in their hand to even buy some bread in the bakery where the Great Fire of London might have started. And so that is such a tiny thing, but so rich in history, isn't it?
Exactly.
Around 1,300 treasure finds are conserved, studied and valued at the British Museum every year. But few attract as many admirers as Bob Greenaway's Bronze Age sun pendant.
And so forth, I was like, this can't be real. this is pristine.
Scientist Laura Peruchetti has been studying the object for over a year.
Such beautiful objects, so well preserved. I'm so used to, look at objects full of corrosion and, damage.
Today, Laura's invited Bob to her lab so that he can view his dazzling discovery under the microscope.
I haven't seen it for at least 12 months. Every time I see it, it's even more beautiful.
And he's hoping it might reveal how such an intricate artefact could possibly have been crafted by hand some 3,000 years ago.
Look at the scale. This is 1 millimeter.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I mean, the lines are all at the same distance. It's incredible. But I can already notice that there is overlap.
So those lines at the bottom were done first?
Precisely. Yeah. We are looking at the order in which things were done. First of all, this one.
Yeah.
Then all the triangle patterns, without making any kind of error, isn't it?
A lot are absolutely perfect.
To produce such accurate lines, a skilled craftsman would have used an engraving tool to press into the surface of the gold.
The detail on the bottom is even finer.
Yeah.
So how many are there to the mill?
5 lines,
One.
something like this. It's the same pressure applied. You know,
Yeah.
they are very, very even, both in the distance and in the pressure.
It's microns, isn't it?
It is. Look at here.
Yeah.
Can you see, like, they made a mistake here?
It's a wobbly line.
Nevertheless, the pendant is near perfect. And under closer examination, Laura is able to determine how the Bronze Age craftsman fashioned it into the shape of the rising sun.
So you have a sheet of metal, you bend it, you then
join
another sheet of metal here, and then you join this kind of ring.
They're soldered on like that.
And they are soldered. How they were able to do this just with their eye.
Finally, the pendant is subjected to X-ray fluorescence, revealing that alongside trace elements of other metals, its composition is 15% silver and 80% gold.
The person that has made it knew very well what he was doing.
Yeah.
So he knew mixing together some kind of gold, silver and copper, the object would have a particular color, a particular shine. And also, looking at the way in which it has been worked, he knew very well how much pressure he could operate on the object. This item is a masterpiece.
Laura's findings will be shared with the British Museum's curators and will help determine what happens next to Bob's sun pendant. Back in Hertfordshire, Mudlark Jason Sandy has more historical gems from the Thames to record with Finds Liaison Officer Joe Ahmed.
It's always good to see Roman coins from the Thames. They always come out looking lovely and brown and coppery.
Yeah, and I love the details on this as well.
Well, straight away we can see who's on the back there. We've got Romulus and Remus.
Romulus and Remus are the mythological twin brothers who founded the city of Rome.
Do you know much about these coins?
I heard that it's a commemorative coin that was produced between 330 and 335 AD. Do
you know why they produced them then?
So the transfer of power from Rome over to Constantinople.
It's not just that. That's the one that people always think about. It's also the big kind of like birthday of Rome as well.
Interesting.
This coin celebrates the city of Rome at a time when the empire had been split in two by the establishment of a second capital in the east, Constantinople, now known as Istanbul in modern-day Turkey. Jason has also brought along a much smaller coin issued to celebrate the new city of Constantinople, or so he thinks.
These coins were all minted across the Roman Empire. They were striking up to 1 million of these coins a day, which is why I see quite a lot of them in some places.
Wow.
That being said, it is so much smaller than the other coin. That is a really typical feature of Roman coins that have been forged. I would suggest that actually your lovely little Constantinople is a copy. But it's a really lovely feature of the Roman period that you do get so much coin forging.
Interesting. I didn't know that one was a forgery, and to find out that it was actually a copy made all those thousands of years ago. Normally things that are forged, you think nowadays, oh, I've been gypped. But actually this is more interesting because it's got its own story attached to it.
As an immaculate testament to Bronze Age craftsmanship, the Treasure Valuation Committee has deemed the Shropshire sun pendant to be worth £250,000, and the British Museum itself has acquired it.
Thanks very much, Bob, for coming in today.
But the head of the Portable Antiquities Scheme, Michael Lewis, and Senior Treasure Registrar, Ian Richardson, know that the historical value of the pendant and all the other ancient artefacts Bob's been finding is greater than any price tag.
You've made some amazing discoveries. Just wanted to say thanks for the contribution that you've made to the Portable Antiquities Scheme, and it makes a massive contribution when people like yourself, record their finds.
Well, it's given me a lot of pleasure as well.
That's great to hear,
Excellent.
The sun pendant will now take a starring role in a special exhibition at Shrewsbury Museum that recognises the importance of all Bob's prehistoric Shropshire finds, including these two exquisite gold lock rings. They're also believed to be Bronze Age jewellery and wrapped in lead to enable them to be dropped to the bottom of the same ritual waters as the pendant.
It must be a really special feeling to have this material that you've discovered be on display for everyone to enjoy and learn from.
Yeah, I think it's important that we record our history. Obviously, we don't want it left in the ground or get it broken up by a plough, so it's lovely to get it out and let people see how skillful people were 3,000 years ago and what they were capable of achieving.
When the exhibition in Shrewsbury ends, the sun pendant will return to the British Museum and take pride of place in its Bronze Age collection.
Finding the Shropshire sun pendant is probably the most important thing that's ever happened to me in my life. You always hope you're going to find something good, but I never expected to find anything like this.
For the first time since they were buried in the Yorkshire soil 2,000 years ago, the ritual Roman bronzes have left Rydale and made their way down to an auction house just outside Derby.
It's getting a bit real now, isn't it, mate?
Unbelievable, yeah. Almost a year to the day.
As bronze objects of this age currently fall outside of the Treasure Act, they can be sold privately. So today, Mark and James's dream finds go under the hammer.
Remember when we first dug it out though, and there was these markings on top, and I was like, it doesn't say made in China, does it, please?
Yeah. Are you going to miss his little face, Mark?
I am, yeah. That day we found it, it was so hypnotising for us to find a treasured item from someone from that time period.
I mean, I've become quite attached to him, I suppose. I knew they were under my bed, hidden away.
It's just a find of a lifetime, isn't it?
Yeah.
For auctioneer Charles Hanson, it's not every day that items of national importance pass through his house.
I think when I first saw the bust of Marcus Aurelius, it was, wow, this is so special. What's it going to fetch? So phone bids booked in from America, the UK, hopefully museums, institutions. It's really exciting.
We've got some vivid objects of rich history today. The Rydal Hoard.
I think I'm gonna die.
This lot is a unique assemblage of Roman ritual artifacts not seen for over 1,800 years. A tantalising insight into Roman Britain in the 2nd century. And what Marcus would have said as an emperor, what we do now echoes in eternity. I will start this lot with me at £50,000. £50,000 I'm bid. I'm asking 60,000. 65,000 I'm bid. 80,000. 80,000 I'm bid. 90,000 Ross. I'm bid 100,000. 110,000. 115,000. 120,000. 130,000. Long live the Emperor. Asking 140. Our friends online, 145,000. 150,000. 170,000 pounds, please. Long live Marcus Aurelius. 170,000. The battle is on. 180,000. I'm bid 185,000 online. Make a memory. Long live Marcus Aurelius. Long live this great emperor. Going, going, going. Sold. Congratulations, madam. It's all right.
Sold for £185,000 to an antiquities gallery in central London.
I'm a little bit lost for words.
It's got what it deserves, hasn't it?
Well, I've done some quick maths, and I think it's just over £92,500 for me and you. That's life-changing. Life-changing money.
All right, so let's get across there and go for a pound.
I think I need to wet my whistle, to be fair. Lovely. Thank you very much. Cheers. Well, Mark. Cheers.
What would people pay to be the first person to pick an item like that up and just look at it? That is worth more than anything. That memory, that money will be far gone.
Oh yeah,
but the memory of that day will be with me for the rest of my life.
Absolutely, yeah.
See Marcus Aurelius looking back at you with mud all over his face. You just cannot beat that.
And I am absolutely proud as punch. I think the colour's coming back to my face anyway.
You did look a bit milky white in auction like.
Next time on Great British History Hunters, a Bristolian detecting duo make the discovery of a lifetime.
The only other time I was as excited was when I was cutting my children's umbilical cords.
The race is on to beat thieves to one of the largest coin hoards ever found.
They're going to steal these archaeological artefacts, so they're going to be stealing our heritage.
And an 11-year-old YouTuber stuns the experts when he rescues treasure from the trash.
It's so rare. It's truly incredible.